Hey you guys, it's Christian from SuperKamiGuru9000, and today I'm joined with J-Zone from TheJZoneproductions, and this is an awesome interview, and it's going to be great. And thank you for joining me today, man.
No problem, dude.
Yeah, very excited. I know we've been planning this for a while, so I'm glad that we finally got down to it. And honestly, it's my fault. I've been so busy with school and everything, and now we finally found some time, and I'm glad we're doing it for sure.
Yeah, because guys, there's a real life off YouTube, apparently.
Yeah, there is real life off YouTube. Holy moly, can you believe that? So I guess one of the big things are, you're another anime and manga guy on YouTube. What got you started in anime and manga?
Well, what got me started initially was pretty much Naruto is what got me into anime and manga. Like, before I watched Naruto, obviously, on Toonami. I saw Dragon Ball Z, Blade. I even saw One Piece before Naruto, but Naruto is actually how I found out what the medium of anime was. And through that, I started watching classics like Yu Yu Hakusho, and yeah, I just expanded, and I'm the anime fan I am today.
Well, that's funny because everyone seems to love to diss Naruto, but that was your vehicle to discover anime and manga, so I guess you still got to give it props for that.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of I think the big three does for people. It helps show them the world of anime and manga. Like, a lot of people like to say DBZ is overrated, and maybe in some ways it is, but man, it got a lot of people, at least Americans and international people like you, started on it, so you got to give it props for that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So how did this love of anime turn into a YouTube channel for you?
Well, there were some people called, there were two of them, Big Al and Darkness the Curse. They used to be like a group of ranters on YouTube, and they used to talk about anime, games, and just a bunch of things. I saw their videos and I was like, hey, I could do this myself, but I could just talk about anime, and that's what I did. And then I branched out into games and other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right now you have two channels. What are they?
One is the J-Zone and the TheJZoneproductions, should I say, and the other one is J's Playground, a new channel which I just started.
Okay, so the J-Zone Productions is kind of like your main channel, or like your anime channel, and the other one's just like your vlogging or whatever you want to do channel?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how it gets down? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So are those people that inspired you to do YouTube still on YouTube, or are they like really big, or have you ever told them that you're one of the reasons you got started?
I haven't ever told them, but they've left YouTube due to like copyright reasons and just getting flags. Mm-hmm. And they went over to make their own websites and went on Blip TV to put their videos on their websites and stuff like that. So they've moved on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I think that it would be a cool move to maybe start your own website and things like that, but that's when things start to cost money and you got to pay for bandwidth, and it's a serious move if you go and do that.
Yeah.
I also see a lot of Sonic in your backgrounds. I think you have like a few Sonic posters. Would you say you're a bigger Sonic fan than you are Mario, or was that like one of your first video games that you really fell in love with, or how would you describe your Sonic fandom?
Well, I like both Sonic and Mario, surprisingly, but I'm more of a Sonic fan because when I first played Sonic 2, it was like a magical experience. It's like with anime, when I first saw Goku versus Frieza, that was a magical experience for me when I first saw anime.
It's a great fight.
Yeah, very great fight. So Sonic 2 to me was just that magical experience that got me into gaming. And ever since then, Sonic has just been probably like my favorite video game franchise because, I mean, although not all of the games have been solid, it's just the character himself, the charisma he has, and the energy he brings, and just the way the gameplay is so fast paced and it's just fun. So I'm just a big Sonic fan throughout because of the character and how fun the game is.
What did you think of the last game, Generations?
For someone that likes the classic games and like the new games, it's like the best thing ever because you get a best of both worlds. It's a really good game, full of nostalgia, but the story's a little weak and it could have been longer.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was too quick. Everyone said before you knew it, you were done with the game. And yeah, you get to play both versions of the levels, but when there's only like, what was it, 7 levels? It went by too quick.
9 levels.
Oh, 9 levels?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's, that's not bad if you divide it by 2, but still, it's kind of not much considering you could beat one of those levels in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 9 levels and 2 acts, and then some boss stages, and then you got a bunch of like missions and extra stuff to do as well.
Mm-hmm. It just, I don't know. I saw Corey beat the first 2 levels, and it seemed like a fun game. It's just, I don't know. I'm not really a platformer anymore. I'm really a first-person shooter, and I'm a PC gamer, which is kind of a weird. You don't find too many of us anymore. I mean,
PC gamers.
Yeah, I like to pay $1,200 for my system because I'm dumb like that.
I think PC gaming, to me, I can see all of the benefits, but I'm just more of a traditional console guy.
I think some people are just more comfortable with a controller, but me, I've always been around technology and always love to have the newest, greatest stuff. So for me, staying in the PC world always just made more sense. But you and Corey, you guys just like controllers. Like, I can't play a fighting game with Corey. He just destroys me every time. And I can't even compete with him. What was it? The last Mario game where you could play 2 players at once? It was on the Wii.
New Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, that one. I sucked. Like, Corey never wanted me to play with him because I'd always just get killed and die off. And, Corey's so good at those games. I'm sure you and Corey are probably very good at, platformer type games when I'm just like, I just want to shoot someone. I feel instant gratification. Just let me shoot someone. I'm happy. Keep it moving. I don't have to figure out how to jump up 5 platforms and do all this timing stuff. I don't care about that.
Well, what's good about the platformers like Sonic, this new game is very replayable because there's so many branching paths that you can take. So platformers can be a fun experience that you can invest a lot of time into. I
definitely see what you're talking about. Have you actually played any of the new RPGs like Skyrim or any of that stuff that's been coming out lately?
Yeah, I'm heavily invested into Skyrim.
How many hours are you in on your character?
I would say at least 80 hours.
Wow, that's an investment. You win.
Yeah, because I don't know, the first day I had it, which was the Friday I stayed up, because I was just so immersed into the world of Skyrim. It's so massive, and I just carried on, and I just loved it ever since.
Do you, what's your character? Is it a melee character or a magic-based character? Or I know there are all those classes in the game.
I'm like a battle mage, so I'm a mixture between a mage, and I use some melee attacks as well.
Do you use one-handed weapons or two-handed weapons?
Oh, one-handed.
Yeah, I heard one-handed weapons are pretty awesome, but I heard the two-handed weapons can just destroy people if you level up with them.
Yeah, it's just that I wanted to keep the magic intact, so I didn't want to go two-handed because I'll just level up two-handed and not do any magic.
Oh, I understand. I guess you have to make that choice early in the game on how you want to do it. I played a lot of Oblivion, which I really, really liked, and I get why Skyrim is so addicting, but maybe I'm just too old now to throw away 80 hours into a game, but I just seem to get bored. I can't do it anymore. My last game I spent a lot of time on was Modern Warfare 2, the one before Black Ops, and I put 240 hours on that game. I know. I prestiged twice, and then I said I'm done, and I just stayed at the second level prestige. But like I'm saying, I'm a first person shooter guy. That's just that's my world. That's where I'm the most comfortable. I mean, I can beat all my friends on pretty much most first person shooters, and I'm playing Battlefield 3 right now, which I love to death. And if anyone wants my screen name and they're playing on PC, just ask me and I'll send it to you in a PM, but I'm not putting it out there for the world. So
my only problems with first-person shooters is that it seems like a lot of them are trying to mimic Call of Duty's style.
Very true. It seems it's like modern war is the new thing. Before it was World War II, and now it's modern war. And that's okay, but the reason I like Battlefield, I haven't even played the new Call of Duty. Never even put a minute on it, but I played Black Ops a few times. But the reason I like Battlefield is it's more of a war simulator. It's an open world game where you're dodging people in tanks and jets, and armored personnel carriers, and it's a whole different style of play. And then when you're playing Call of Duty, it's kind of like a hallway shooter. It's just like run down here, wait for people to pop up there, shoot them first. And I don't really like that because, that's pretty much fast twitch muscles. And I'm not the fastest first-person shooter. And when you're that good at those sort of games, it's not fun for everyone else. And I really like, Call of Duty, or not Call of Duty, Battlefield, because you could just blow someone up with a rocket launcher halfway across the map, and they're like, what the fuck just happened? And, like, the style of play is completely different.
So essentially, one's just run and gun, and one's tactical.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you're not playing with your team, trying to capture points or something, you won't win because the lone wolf strategy does not work in that game. And one guy can't take out 5 dudes. I mean, he may be able to if you're really good and you sneak up on him, but if 5 people see you and you see them, you can't beat them. That's just the way it is. Like, you need to stay with a squad and work together. That's just the way the game is, and I like that teamwork style a lot more than I like just run down the hallway and shoot them first and put on stopping power so your bullets destroy everyone first. Actually,
kill streak.
Yeah, and get a kill streak, and then use your gay-ass airstrike to kill everyone, and so they can't move, and start spawn killing, and yeah, that's not very fun. And I understand why people don't like Call of Duty because of that.
And you don't want 13-year-olds screaming at you while you killed them.
Oh, see, that's the one thing I don't have to experience on the PC world. Like, for some reason, people don't talk on mics as much, which, is a problem when you need to communicate, but at the same time, you don't have to deal with all the haters. So, imagine Xbox without the mics. It might actually be pretty enjoyable because you'd just be able to play your games and not be bothered by all the little screaming 13-year-olds screaming out all the racist comments and stuff.
Yeah, and then teabagging you on Halo, which is annoying.
Oh, man. Oh, teabagging in Halo. Hey, getting back to Mario and Sonic, who do you think would win in a fight?
Sonic, obviously, because he'll just run circles around Mario, and Mario would be too busy getting high on magic mushrooms. And, yeah.
I think Mario would win because he's got projectiles. If he's got a fire flower.
If you can dodge him, there's no problem.
That's true. If he can dodge him. But, I mean, he's also got the Tanuki suit where he could, turn to stone and not get hurt. I don't know, man. It's a good fight. If you, but at the same time, okay, here's a question for you. Since Mario and Sonic can both kill their enemies by jumping on them, who would die if they both jumped on each other?
What?
I don't know. Sorry, I just got all deep there in my Mario Sonic fanfare battle.
How could they both jump on each other at the same time?
I just ask the dumb questions, man. I don't have the answers, That's all I got.
I don't know, man. Some 13-year-old kid could just shout at both of them. They both die. I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. So, what's some of the on your main channel, TheJZoneproductions? What's some of the main animes you focus on, or do you really try not to focus on certain animes like the big 3, or do you not mind talking about the big 3, but you don't do it often, or what would you describe your anime content on your channel?
Well, I don't really focus on one anime per se. I try to just give a whole bunch of animes a shine, but the ones I've talked about most frequently will probably be Naruto, One Piece, and Gintama. Those are probably the 3.
What's Gintama about? Am I saying that right? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah, yes, you're saying it right. Gintama is like a parody anime, so you'll have a bunch of different parodies of Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, just any old series. But at the same time, it's about how these aliens, the Yamato, they come down to the Earth, and it's about the conflict between this main character and them. So there's the main character's friend. He's part of this like revolution faction, and he wants to literally make this place Edo into how it was before, where there were no aliens. And there's another friend he has, who's Tatsugi, and this guy just wants to destroy all of Edo because of what happened to their sensei that they all share. So it's literally Gintoki trying to live life normally while all of this conflict's going on, and then you throw on the comedy and the parodies, the Shinsengumi, who are the police, and all of these other wacky bunch of characters, and it's just interesting, and it's very different from the usual shonens.
So because they do parody, is the goofy level really high in that series? Because I find if I watch anime that has a really high goofy level, it kind of takes me out of it. That's just my personal opinion.
Like, it's very goofy, but there are arcs where it's so serious and you actually feel for the characters, so it has a balance.
See, that was my thing. I started watching Fairy Tail and I watched the first 20 episodes because I usually say you got to go about 20 episodes in to really get a feel for a series. And I just couldn't get into Fairy Tail because, for one, I found it too predictable. And for the other reason, it was too goofy. Too many anime faces. And, like, I need some seriousness. Like, my favorite anime and manga is probably Berserk. And that's because it is powerfully serious. And I like, eat that up. So when I was watching Fairy Tail, I was just kind of like, this is just, there's like a goofy face every 5 seconds. And it just bothered me. I was like, I can't get into it. And then, like, I don't know. Did you find Fairy Tail kind of predictable too? I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it is. Fairy Tail to me is decent, but it's just very, very enjoyable. That's his main thing it's got going for it. It's like a nerfed version of One Piece because it doesn't concentrate. It doesn't get any deeper, you get what I mean? There's no deeper meaning behind the fights. It's just Natsu going around punching people in the face.
Yeah, you don't have, like, Sasuke stepping on leaves, as he leaves the Leaf Village, and you don't have, like, all that symbolism super built into it like you do in kind of, like, Naruto sometimes. But I know what you're saying, and definitely if you like shonen series and you like that shonen style of anime, you'll definitely enjoy Fairy Tail. But yeah. I guess it's just too simple for me. I like something with a little more depth. If I'm going to adopt another shonen anime that I care about, it's got to be different. It can't be a light One Piece or, something that borrows a little bit from everyone. It needs to be something kind of new. That's probably like why my favorite stuff is Gantz and Berserk and Naruto. Those are kind of weird choices, but those are my choices.
Good choices.
Yeah.
And Berserk's good for the most part. It's a bit too depressing, but it's good.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was watching the series. It got to the end, and it's like that weird cliffhanger ending, which I will not spoil. And then I started reading the manga, and Puck, the character Puck, came in, and I almost got mad when he started making goofy anime faces. I was like, get that motherfucker out of this series! I want serious only! And, like, he just has this, his goofy anime faces, but at the same time, if Puck wasn't in there, it would be kind of a little too depressing. It would just be like nonstop killing and sad and demons, and I don't know. It would be hard to stomach. You'd really have to be in a depressed mood and listen to some emo music to be able to handle that series.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but back to Gintamo. So it's serious at times, but it's definitely goofy too. And it's not. Does it have a lot of symbolism built into it, or is it pretty straightforward in what it's trying to go for?
Like, it has a lot of symbolism and life lessons within Gintama, because like the way it works is a bit similar to Inuyasha, from what I heard, where it has a load of mini arcs within the story. Mm-hmm. So it's not got like massive arcs, and each one of them sometimes tries to concentrate on some sort of life lesson or symbolism within it. Like, there's one focusing on how, like, computers and technologies are taking over and how that affects us. Mm-hmm. There's deeper meaning behind that. There was an arc where it focused around how you shouldn't. There's basically this character who's been made out to sort of take the heir to this sort of clan. Mm-hmm. And his parents were forcing him to do stuff, and there was one about how you should find your own sort of path and not let your parents take you into something. Like, there's some deeper messages within some of the arcs, but it can be very goofy at times still.
Well, I think that's good. I think deeper messages isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just symbolism sometimes can get poured on a little too heavily in anime, and that bothers me. Sometimes, like, symbolism can be a little too much. It's like, obviously, I always use this example, but like when Sasuke was stepping on leaves and when he's like, you can't even put a scratch on me to Naruto, and then Naruto scratches his headband. It's like, well, I see what you did there. I get you. But it's just kind of a little corny at a certain period. But at the same time, we're talking about shonen anime, so I shouldn't expect too much in the depth level.
And I think the whole thing with Gintama about how we should rise up against these aliens and the whole revolution, that whole symbolism behind that was pretty good, because it sort of takes from historical references from the Bakamatsu, if you're familiar with Rurouni Kenshin, so it's sort of parallel in that as well. So any Rurouni Kenshin fans, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, that's pretty interesting that they you know, say or symbolize back to that. So one thing I noticed by watching some of your videos, because whenever I do an interview with someone, I really try to go watch a few of your videos before we do the interview, is a lot of them are easily over 5 or 10 minutes long. Do you set out to do that, or is it just you have so much to say you just end up making some videos with some good length to them?
When I like something, I tend to talk a lot, so it's accidental, but I usually have to cover a wide span of issues when I do mine. Like, I never usually review one chapter or one episode or just one thing. It's usually like on the whole character or whole season, or just like a whole topic where I compare a whole bunch of animes. So I need like more than 10 minutes. And I know it can seem like a podcast at sometimes, but you know, it has to be done.
Well, if it takes you a while to say what you got to say, it is what it is. But I think it's good that you're not saying, "Oh, well, this is taking too long. I'm going to just cut out these other ideas I had," which is really important, because I know when me and Corey started, we had a lot to say, and our videos were hitting 10 minutes very frequently. And it wasn't until we got, I think, better at organizing our thoughts that we finally got them down, because when you're doing Naruto reviews, you got to kind of keep them under 10 minutes, just because, you know, so many people that are watching them are, I think, younger, and they're just not going to watch a long video on a Naruto review or a Naruto chapter that probably only took them 5 minutes to read. So you do, I don't know, strategically, I like to have my videos shorter, but if you don't mind, I think that that's good. And there's definitely no doubt that you have a bunch of content in your videos. Like, watching it, I feel like it's like a lesson on anime. Like your Durarara review, that was really good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it was very good. You guys should definitely check that out. And I haven't seen much of that series, but I did like it, and I thought the animation was pretty good. Like, what's your general thoughts on that? If you could, you know, put that in a shorter version, you don't have to give us the 10-minute long version of Durarara.
Okay, short version is, it's similar to Baccano if any of you have watched it. Basically, instead of doing the traditional way of introducing characters where, like with One Piece, you'll just have Luffy finding his crew, this series sort of throws all of the characters in at one time and develops on them. Like, they have like single episodes from them, but this is set in this place called Ikebukuro, which is like an urban Japanese city, and each one of these characters are linked to each other within the series. So while you develop on this character, you find out how they're connected to the other character, and it's all about finding out what the mystery behind the color gangs and all of these, the Headless Rider, is about finding out what the mystery is behind it and how to sort of stop it.
Yeah, every time someone describes Durarara to me, it always seems like the writing is the real special part of that series, because you can't just wing that. You got to really plan that out. If you want to like throw in all the characters and then develop them like that, that's got to be some excellent writing.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, like, the sister series to it, I would say, which is, or the older sister anyway, which is Baccano, the one that came before Durarara, created by the same creator, it is like that as well. And the problem with series like that is the first 2 or 3 episodes can be hard to get into. So I haven't even finished with Baccano yet, because I couldn't get past the second episode, because it can be really confusing until you get into like the episode 5 or 6 where things start to piece together. It's a really tricky way of writing, but it's very effective once you finish the series.
I mean, it definitely sounds like a good series and something I need to invest some time and sit down and watch, because I've never heard anything bad about it. And it sounds like it's a good anime too, just in general, even, you know, beyond the writing. Like, the animation and the characters seem interesting. What do you think? I don't know. I like to ask this to people when I'm interviewing them. What do you think of the current state of the anime community on YouTube? A lot of people don't want to call it a community. They want to just say everyone's out for themselves. And I understand that point of view, but I just feel like as people get bigger, like let's say the two biggest chapter reviewers are Sawyer and For Neverworld right now. I just feel as they get bigger, there are going to be more people that come and watch everyone else's stuff that's not as big. And I feel like it is a community, even if people don't want it to be one. If you have a different point of view, that's completely fine. It's just I see us as a community, even if people don't see us as a community. And what's your feelings on the current state of this community?
In all honesty, I don't think it's a community at all, because community usually means people coming together because they have a common sense of interest, or maybe they live in a local area together. R1 being the common sense of interest, but it seems like our interest of anime is being halted before these arguments and just bashing things for the sake of bashing it.
Fanboys.
Fanboys. People just all of this hate and negativity, and it's not a community to me at all.
Well, that's fine. Like I said, honestly, I'm glad that you expressed your opinion on that. To me, it's not necessarily the sense, maybe I should say almost like ecosystem. It's this anime ecosystem where we're all talking about anime, but maybe we're not necessarily getting along. But it just seems like since we're all talking about anime, you would put that in the forefront. Like, oh, you like this, I like that. Or, oh, I haven't seen that, thanks for showing it to me. But instead it's, fuck you, Naruto's better than One Piece. It always seems to go back to, some big three argument, or, this character's more badass than that character. And maybe that's just basic human nature, because whenever you have a favorite in something, you want it to be better than everyone else's. Kind of like cheering in football or something. When you're saying, like, my team's better than your team, LSU's going to beat Bama, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you don't follow American football, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. But the idea, the example really is that people like their favorite stuff to be the best for some reason. And I think that people need to I'm asking people to respect each other's opinion on the internet, which is a really stupid thing to do. But I have faith that it can happen. And I'm just an optimist, I guess.
Well, I can understand what you're saying, but it got to the point where YouTube really has been a learning experience for me, because it's opened me up to all of these wide spans of opinions and like the way people think about things, and it's made me open my eyes. And my favorite two series, anime and manga series, will always probably be One Piece and Naruto. And honestly, I don't think they're the best series ever, and I don't think they're the best series out there. I just think they're the most accessible, and they're just easy for people to get into, because it gives you a bit of everything, but even though they're flawed. So I still think people can favour things, but it doesn't mean they have to think it's the best.
And, I'm probably going to agree with you. Some of my favorite two shonen series are Naruto and One Piece. And I like them both for completely different reasons. No, they're not the best series, but I can read them at any time and probably enjoy it. Like, I could go back and watch almost any Naruto arc and enjoy it, besides the filler ones. And, same thing with One Piece. Like, I could enjoy any island adventure I watch in that show. And maybe it's a little nostalgia, because I've been following them the longest. But it's not bad that I like. It doesn't make me a shallow anime fan. And I think that's what a lot of people say whenever you're not preaching about some anime that's very unknown. It's almost like being, like liking bands that no one's heard of because you think you're some elitist music fan. It's like being an elitist anime fan if you only say you like stuff no one's heard of. And I think that just goes back to people saying, oh, I want the stuff I like to be better than everyone else's stuff. When really you should be saying, well, I like this and you like that, and that's cool. But, I guess it's also the problem is we're talking to 13-year-olds sometimes, so it's hard to expect much out of a younger person. I guess I shouldn't bash people on YouTube so much, but it's just sometimes I lose faith of humanity. But then I realize I'm just talking to 13-year-olds on YouTube, so that's just me.
My thing is to the people that complain about that stuff, promote your anime. If you want it to get out there, promote it. I don't want to see you say, oh, don't talk about the big three, and the next video you make is a Naruto One Piece video. Talk about the anime you like, and maybe people will get into it.
What was it? I don't really like to. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really know Phone very much. But Phone said in one of his videos, I think it was titled "Faceless Nobodies," and I always like thought of that as a good idea. It's like you come and complain on my videos, but then you don't make one that's better. So it's kind of like not necessarily saying if you want something else to happen, you have to make it yourself. But if you don't even have a video or like any way of promoting the series you like, then who are you to tell me to stop promoting the series I like? You know, it's just like you're just nothing but a complainer. You're nothing but a person that's slowing down a conversation that didn't need your opinion. It's just my opinion, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting preachy.
I agree with that. I think, they should go out there and make their own channels, but they're allowed to critique to a point. Like, there's sort of a balance. You can critique, but at the same time, if you want something done, you can do it yourself.
Yeah, very, very easily. And I know Corey and I literally didn't know Sawyer, Insane Game Freak, For Neverworld. None of these people existed. We had this idea to review Naruto chapters all on our own. We thought we were fucking geniuses. We were like, no one's done this before. Yeah. We sat down, we made our first review, we put it out, and then we were like, oh shit, other people do this already. And it was like, I think that's actually where a lot of our creativity comes from, these Naruto chapters, because they weren't inspired by other reviewers. They were just our idea that we developed outside of the YouTube ecosystem and then brought it to it. And that's something I'm super proud of when it comes to my videos, is that they're much more creative. And I like to say that everything's already been said before. Originality is kind of dead, but the way you say something can mean just as much as if it was a creative new idea no one's ever heard of. So, like, just like go listen to a cover of a song, like a guy playing it with a guitar and then a guy playing the cover with a piano is going to sound completely different. It's the same song, same notes, but how you say something is very important. And I think that that's also something that I get very frustrated with when people are always like, oh, these people that only review the big three. Like, yeah, I get it. There are a lot of people reviewing the big three. But the real problem is there's a lot of people reviewing the big three that are just reading the manga off their monitor into a webcam. And that's boring as fuck. And I don't really care about watching people do that. You know, like, that's a boring video. But if you can actually gather some thoughts and bring some insight to the table, I'll probably watch your Naruto review, or I'll probably watch your Bleach review, or et cetera, et cetera. And it doesn't necessarily have to be funny, but it's just, it can be original without being original. I don't know how to make that any more confusing. But you know what I'm saying, man.
I know what you're saying. You're basically trying to say, like, there's originality, which is just like this new idea, but at the same time there's creativity, and creativity may be taking an old idea, but thinking about it in a new light, so you have your own style. Now, that's what I think a lot of the chapter reviewers have to do. They have to be creative with how they present their things. Like, you might go to Sawyer's style where it's short and funny, or like your style where it covers all of the topics of the manga, but when it's like really edited nice and well. Or you might just go to someone's style like the way Larry used to review it, where it's just long and in-depth. Mm-hmm. Like, just find your own style.
Or you can do it, you know, that's something else I want to say in this video. I think a lot of people hate on For Neverworld for his style of reviewing the big three. But, I mean, if you look at it in a strategic way, it's the most efficient, most to-the-point style of reviewing I've ever seen. Now, I could easily mimic that and sit here and wait for the chapter to come out so I could pump out that review really quick. But I'll tell you what, that's not what I want to do. But if that's what he wants to do, I guess I can't really be someone to say, you shouldn't make those videos, because then I'm kind of a hypocrite when I'm telling other people, don't go tell me what I can make and what I can't make. So, you know, I used to really not like For Neverworld, because me and him had a few conversations back in the day, how I would get mad at him for putting out reviews so quickly that were really lacking in any real content, because they were just so quick, and he like would miss complete things, in my opinion. He would miss whole parts of the manga and not discuss them. And I would be like, you're not really doing a review, you're more just doing a summary. And he just pretty much didn't have any interest in my opinion, which is fine. He doesn't have to listen to it. But you know, just going back to the original point is that you can do your own style. And I think a lot of people hate on Foreverworld, but at the same time, it works for him. And obviously he's successful. You can't really deny that. So, but I'm enjoying the way I'm doing it. And I think that's at the end of the day, as someone that makes videos like yourself, you got to do it the way you enjoy it, because you're going to have to keep doing it on your own. So, you know, you can get mad at someone for doing it their way, or you can just concentrate on doing it yourself better every week. Sorry, I'm all ranty today, but
but my whole thing with Foreverworld, I'm cool with him as far as I know. But yeah, his style, people hate on it, but the way I always saw him is like he's more of an informer rather than someone I go to for like reviewing. How do I put it? Rather than someone I go to for analysis. Like if I want to find out about, hey, there's a new trailer for this, and just have someone give their thoughts on it, that's Foreverworld. It's not like I would go to him to know the ethical complexity of this character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the difference between going to a news station and then reading a book on a subject. It's like the news station is just going to tell you what's out there, but reading a book on it is the thing that's going to give you the in-depth look at what's really going on. Or, you know, maybe I should say a blog post or something that's a little more modern. I don't know how many people are even reading books nowadays, which is kind of sad, but you know what I mean. Like, there's two places to go for information. You can either go and just find out it's there, or you can go find out it's there and then go find out a lot more information on it. And I almost wish people would not hate on Foreverworld as much, because he's already pretty much made up his mind how he's going to run his channel. So, you know, accept it or don't. But at the end of the day, that's what he does. So if you want to do something different, do it yourself. I don't know. It's just my opinion on it. Well, speaking of some of our, you know, other YouTubers, who are some of your favorite YouTubers right now that you're probably watching more often than not?
There are too many.
Too many.
But
I'm not annotating to all of them, so it doesn't matter. I don't care how many you mention.
Okay, I'm just going to say pretty much everybody in my collab channel, the Cloud Village, that means Uber Black Man, Insane Game Freak, Mangarita Z, G to the King, King of Lightning, for Jason, Nerdy Mo, you know, all of them in there. Shout out to them. And then the other ones I like watch in the anime community would be like someone like Ozaki Rain. He's random and he brings some originality to the table. Damn it, I always forget. Durashare, obviously, Shonen the Jumper, I like him too. Edo the Talker, he's a new guy, I like his videos.
Oh, he's good. He's very good. I like his stuff.
Mr. Mihawk, if you know who he is.
He's great, honestly. I wish I could do an interview with him. That guy's great.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say Uber Akari. Larry of Otaku Assemble, Ziploc Gory, that's who I can remember off the top of my head. There's a lot of guys I enjoy watching, but...
And the people he doesn't mention, it's because he hates you guys, okay?
Nah, yeah, I hate you, you should die in the ditch, but no.
I'm just kidding. I know they know we're kidding, but, you know, there's so many people on YouTube that are doing a good job right now. It's pretty inspiring. And
I forget, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sure they'll forgive you, or they'll leave a comment saying, "Hey, man, you didn't mention me." And so, what are your future plans for your two channels that you have going on right now?
Really, like, I'm just gonna carry on reviewing random stuff on the J Zone for the most part. And the J's Playground ones, I'm gonna push. I'm gonna do discussions. I'm gonna try and. I was originally going to put on the J-Zone, I was originally going to put arc reviews on there, but I think I'm going to move them to J's Playground. So that means like arc reviews for the ongoing series, like Naruto, One Piece, Fairy Tail, stuff like that. And really, I don't know. I don't have any big, massive plans at the moment in my head.
Come on, man. It's 2012. The world's about to end. You got to plan out what you want to do with your time left.
Oh, yeah. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue with this series, which is what I call Why I Like. So basically, it's just telling people why I like certain series. Is a quick way of doing an anime recommendation to people.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Avatar Legend of Korra episode reviews I'm actually going to do on the J's Playground channel as well. So look forward to that.
Do you ever have any plans that you wish you did but you still haven't done yet? Like back in the day plans or things that didn't really work out that you wanted to do?
Yeah, there was this thing I was doing called the J-Man documentary.
Interesting.
And I did like one episode. It's basically where I take a topic and take a topic and do like a really in-depth documentary about it. So the first one I did was how it was about the success of One Piece and talking about Oda's inspirations, how much he's selling, what people in Japan think of it. Like, I was gathering together all of these facts and different knowledge on that, and I put out the episode of that. And then the second episode I planned to do was on how the fall of animation outside of Japan is going, because basically we're not seeing as much animation coming out of Europe, and we're not seeing as much of it coming out of America as well. You know what I mean? Apart from like Pixar and stuff, but I mean, Saturday morning cartoons aren't the way they used to be.
No,
it's
they're
more
not.
like Disney's pumping out, and all of these other channels are just pumping out live action shows. So I wanted to do something on that too, but yeah.
I guess it's just cheaper to film an episode of something because you think camera equipment and everything's getting cheaper that puts out good video. So I guess it's just cheaper to do live action than it is to do animation anymore, which is kind of sad because I remember Saturday morning cartoons and they were all American made. I mean, I didn't really run into anime until I was like in my teens. So it's really sad that
it's very sad because they're missing out on the classic cartoons that we all used to watch. Like, who remembers watching Dexter's Laboratory?
Oh man, that show. Well, that was practically anime inspired, though. You remember the robot battles in the city and stuff?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the main reasons I like anime so much, because I would watch that and like Johnny Bravo and Ren and Stimpy and
Teen Titans.
Actually, I missed Teen Titans. I didn't actually watch that one very much, but it was a good one. I've seen a few episodes.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Now I know. One of the last things I wanted to ask you are: do you have any plans for partnership with any of your two channels, or have you monetized your videos before? And what's your feelings on that?
Well, basically, some people may know I'm going for partnership on the J's Playground channel. The J Zone is just, I'm not really going to go for partnership on that. I'm just going to leave that how it is, just carry on. But yeah, I'm just going to go for partner on J's Playground and leave it at that. In terms of like the way I think partnerships affected this community, I think it's had a lot of positive effects while having a lot of negative effects too, because it's positive to see that this anime community is growing and people can actually make money off of their stuff. And when someone's actually genuine and honest about their things and actually making money off of it, I think it's great. Like people like Ziploc, Gory, Larry and Game Man and Nick, them getting partnership I thought was great. But in some instances I feel that it's actually gotten people to be greedy and it's just gotten people to do things that they think will get views, and it's had more of a positive effect than a negative effect. But I just don't want people to get infatuated with the money and getting featured instead of talking about what they love.
There's not that much money in it. There really isn't. And I think people need to know that and keep it in perspective. Like, I've talked to a few people, and I know you're not supposed to mention how much money you get. That's part of it. Partnership, that's a big rule. You can't tell people how much money you get. But, I mean, I've had personal conversations with the people, and they don't make much money. Yeah, they make money. They make maybe a good bit of money. But if you had a part-time job, I guarantee you'd make more money. So, in my personal opinion, unless you're getting like crazy amounts of views.
The people I talk to, they make good money, but it's not the kind of money that will support you. It's the kind of money that, yeah, you can buy a lot of like anime related stuff or movie related stuff, but it's not the kind of money to pay all of your rent and then have disposable change. It's nowhere near that amount. Yeah,
it's not enough to live off of. And I think it's a fantasy that people let themselves slip into where they're like, oh, I'm going to live off my YouTube videos. I'm like, not unless you're Red William Johnson. not unless you're Epic Mealtime. You know, you're not living off that money. And that's just the way it is. And I think that's something I remember when me and Corey started to get successful, like maybe our 6 months, 7 months in, you know, we got all excited about the money. Like, I remember it was like a fantasy. You know, we were just like, oh, we're going to make so much money, blah, blah, blah. And then when we started understanding that we weren't going to make that much money, we said, we don't want to partner. We don't want to make money because it's only going to mess things up because we have the most honest intentions right now. And on top of that, whatever little money we make, we'd have to split in 50-50. But, you know, our intentions are so honest right now. So the idea of, in my opinion, diluting that with money motivation bothered me. And Corey sees it the same way. So unless we can figure a way to partner where money isn't going to be a problem, like what about if Corey's like, I got a flat tire. I want that money this month to fix my car, you know? And that's not really what the money should be looked at. You know, it should be looked at as an investment tool to pour back into the channel to get you more views. It shouldn't be, you know, your grocery money. That's just my opinion. So, see, this is like two different opinions. And the last thing I'd ever want is me and Corey to have a fake Cloud Village argument about money like you guys pulled the last week. You know,
that was funny.
You guys totally got me on that too, by the way.
Good actors.
Yeah, you guys are. I was like, oh shit, everyone's ganging up on Uber Black Man and everyone's arguing about money and everyone's using the N-word 1,000 times. And I was like, what is going on?
My aims with this are like starting to come true because my aim really was just to get partnership and make a little bit of money off of this. But recently, actually just today, some dude contacted me and he's part of this website. Mm-hmm. And he said he would like me to start like writing for his blog and all of that stuff. And they got connections to this other site. And it's one of those things where if I were to go to an anime convention, I could ask them, can I be press? And I'll be able to be press around in the anime convention. So, and I can put it on my CV or resume. So I've actually affiliated with a website, which was one of my goals. So I just wanted to get myself like sort of a bit of establishment in this community, and I think I've done that. So that's all I really needed. I don't really need a whole bunch of money to live off, so I'm happy with the way it is.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I think there's such a world outside of YouTube. I think a lot of people get closed-minded. I didn't have that problem when we started because, like I said, I didn't know anyone was doing this on YouTube. So I went to like 5 different Naruto forums and posted all of our videos. And I got banned from all of them except one because they said, don't spam your stuff here. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And they banned me from 4 of them. And then one of them, tailedfox.com, said they loved our stuff. And they featured it on their front page for a while. That relationship ended up sort of dissolving over time. But for I'd say about 4 months, they put our videos on the front of their page. And we probably got, out of our initial 200 to 300 subscribers in the beginning, I'd say about half of them came from that website. And I think a lot of people have to keep that in mind. There's a world outside of YouTube, and you can gain so much publicity by going outside of YouTube. The last anime convention I went to, I met people that had seen me on the internet that I had never met before. And that was weird. Like, I'm not going to necessarily call them fans. They didn't run up and scream, oh my God, it's Christian from SuperKami. But they were like, oh, it's Christian from SuperKami. And like, I ended up having a conversation with these people. And, you know, there's a world outside YouTube. And you need to, if you're really serious about getting your channel big, you need to try to explore that, I think. Because if you're just so YouTube closed-minded, it's not going to, there's more to it than that. The internet is gigantic. Think large. Well, J-Zone, honestly, man, I want to say we had a pretty good interview. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it went great, and we had a good conversation. So thank you so much for coming on today, man.
Thanks, no problem.
Yeah, dude, this is the first interview I've done that we made it all the way through in one take, which is a real feat and something that definitely is as much to do with you as me. So thank you again for this opportunity, man, and I'll talk to you later, okay?
Yeah, peace.